So I'd like to talk to you guys a little bit about our Demi permanent line. So I feel like with the Kenra portfolio and with hair color in general, a lot of people are afraid of using Demi permanent color when really it's an awesome tool that's been made available for you. So with the Kenra color, Demi permanent color, again, like the rest of the Kenra portfolio, it's super versatile. There are 5 reasons or ways that you would choose to use the Demi permanent line over other options, and I'm going to cover some of those with you. So again, with the Demi permanent line, it still is formulated with our Balance Complex 5. Um, Super gentle formulations, no ammonia, super great shine to the hair. Um, it's just a great tool to grab, and I'm going to tell you why. So with our Demi Permanents, it's a 1-to-2 ratio when you're using it for some of its reasons, and then if you're using it for more of gray coverage or gray blending, you're going to want to use that on a 1-to-1 ratio, 1 ounce of color, 1 ounce of developer. If you're using it for color balancing or using it to add shine and you're not really worried about covering or blending gray, then you can go to the 1-to-2 ratio, 1 ounce of color to 2 ounces of your 9 volume activator. Now with the Demi permanent line, the boxes are black, the developer is black, and you'll always want to use those together. Do not try to intermix any of the developers with the Demi permanent line. You'll want to stick with the black developer and the black box. And just a little cheat sheet that's made available for you inside of the flap of the color box is your mixing ratio. So it'll just give you a little reminder when you open those up how you should mix it and what you should mix it with. Process time is anywhere from 5 to 25 minutes. Since we're not working with ammonia, and one of the reasons why you'd use Demi Permanent is for toning, once you reach that desired shade, you can rinse. And that'll be at room temperature. There's no need to add heat with our Demi Permanent line. So anywhere from 5 minutes to 25 minutes processing time. And keep that in mind when you are mixing it up for gray coverage or gray blending. If you're going to do that on the 1-to-1 ratio, you're going to want to process probably that full 25 minutes to make sure that you get full gray blending or coverage. Moving on, so we can hop right into the 5 reasons why you would use the Demi Permanent line for color servicing, enhancing color. So say you have a client who is a 5N and she just wants a little more tone to her hair, maybe add some warmth, kind of richen it up. So color enhancing, because we're not using any ammonia or there's no levels of lift, we're depositing only, which is all you can do with Demi Permanent color. You could use a 5RB on top of her 5N and just really richen that up and add some tone without that commitment of going into permanent hair color where you're going to be every 6 weeks with a grow out process. You're going to see that line of demarcation where it starts to grow out. With the Demi Permanent line, it's going to put that tone in there. It's going to gradually kind of tone out, so you won't see that line of demarcation, and it gives your clients the satisfaction of having tone without the commitment. Also, we can use it for equalizing. So we have a client who has been coming in and her REIT color is, she wants to be a 5B. Well, we know that with our permanent line, we have to mix that N series in to cover her gray at her root. She's 50% gray. So, and she wants 100% coverage. So on her regrowth, we would use a 50% of our formulation would be 5N, 50 would be 5NB, or we could use 5NB. We talked about that earlier when we talked about using the N series for gray coverage and adding it into our formulations. So we would formulate just like normal. We would do our 5NB, one part our 5B with our 20 volume developer on our regrowth. And then on her mid shaft to ends, because we aren't covering gray, it's already been covered, there's already color on her mid shaft to ends, we can go to our Demi Permanent line, mix up that 5B with our 9 volume activator, pull that down through her ends for those last 15 minutes of her processing time. And that's going to put that shine back in her ends, even out the color, give you color balance from scalp to ends, one solid shade. So keep that in mind. A lot of stylists mix up one tone. They're putting that same 20 volume root mixture all the way scalp to ends, and then the ends are getting darker, 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 because you're just packing that full. You're opening up that cuticle with the 20 volume developer, and you're packing in more color. So a lot of times that's how we get a hot root or a lighter root or a lighter root, by doing permanent formulation on the regrowth and then using that same formulation on the ends. By using a demi-permanent, you're depositing only, you're putting that shine in. It's going to give you amazing, balanced, beautiful color from scalp to ends. So just keep that in mind. It's just one extra step to mix up your demi-permanent for your end formulation, but it will make a huge difference for you as the stylist and your client by the results they're gonna get. So keep that in mind. Toning, we talked about our toners a little bit before when we went through the color portfolio. You know, using our rapid toners at the shampoo bowl and working quickly, or mixing some of our other demi-permanent shades, since it's a process time of 5 to 25 minutes. They're great to use right at the shampoo bowl on damp hair. At Kenra, we prefer that you, or recommend, I guess, that we shampoo and condition the hair to equal out the porosity of the hair, towel dry, and then apply your toner. And because the Kenra portfolio is so versatile, with our demi-permanents, you know, we have our rapid toners with the silver violet, the violet pearl, and the beige, or the green blue, which are great to just grab to tone out the levels that we need, or the unwanted tones we need at those levels. But then in our demi-permanent line, mixed up and applied to dry hair is also a great option. I love to use our 8B and our 8ROM together for like a rosy brown kind of toner at the end. It's a beautiful on like a level 9 to just add that extra like warmth and tone. I also love to mix our 10A and our 9PV together, because that gives us like this super ashy violet, light of translucent kind of blonde. It's beautiful. And then if I want something warmer, I like to mix the 8G and the 7RB together to give me more of like a caramely kind of reddy brown light. So once you get in there and start formulating, you're going to love how versatile using the demi-permanents for toning are. It doesn't always just have to be ashy blonde or, you know, red. There are so many options in between. So don't be afraid to mix and match and customize that formula specifically to the result that you and your client are after. So for gray blending, what we're going to do for gray blending is we're going to mix our formulation with a 1-to-1 ratio, so we get a little thicker consistency. But also remember, when we are formulating, even with our demi-permanent, we're going to grab our N series and mix that into our formulation to give us maximum coverage and blending. So if you have someone who is wants to be a 5B, we would still mix in 50% of our 5N with 50% of our 5B with the according 9 volume activator to give you full coverage or blending and maximum results. So make sure that you're still mixing your N series into your formulations when formulating for gray blending and coverage, and still mixing with that 9 volume activator on a 1-to-1 ratio. And then finally, our 5th reason is our clear gloss. And if you guys haven't already used it, it's an amazing tool to grab, and another versatile one at that. So our clear gloss is great to use on clients who have gray hair and you want to soften the cuticle and make it more manageable and add that shine that sometimes gray hair tends to lose. Putting this clear gloss on, mixed with our 9 volume activator, still on the 1-to-2 ratio, will soften up that cuticle, make the hair softer, more manageable, and really put the shine on gray hair. It's beautiful. It's also great to mix into your other demi-permanent formulations to add extra shine and luster, but just used by itself as a glossing treatment at the end is an amazing thing to grab. It'll kind of seal up, it'll make everything shiny, it'll really make those colors pop. Anytime I'm doing multi-tonal highlights, low light situation, I love to put the clear gloss on at the end, because then that makes each shade kind of pop on its own, and it just makes everything so pretty. So just remember to use that as often as you can. It's a great upsell too. If you have a client who, she doesn't really need her color touched up, but she's down for a color appointment with you and you don't want to cancel and she doesn't want to reschedule, and you know those situations. Using a clear gloss is a great option to add that shine back into the hair and kind of buy your client a little more time until she really needs to have her color touched up. It's great for after balayaging too. Anytime that I lighten the hair, I love to use the gloss at the end to put the shine back in and really make the hair look beautiful. So just remember all the versatile ways that you can use our Demi Permanent line, and don't be afraid to go and grab these because they're a great tool that Kenra has put it right at your fingertips.